Hi everyone, it's Andy from Snow Camp Europe, and in this video we are looking at snow. We are looking at how much snow we think we are going to get in the winter season 2024-25. We're also going to talk about how much snow we've had over the past seasons, and we're also going to look at the number of snowfall days. And the reason for that is we are getting a lot of questions, and we are seeing a lot of questions on different Facebook pages and Facebook groups where people are saying things like, heading to ZLMZ February half term, what will the snow be like? Visiting Kitsteinhorn April for Easter, will the snow be good? We don't know, do we? We just don't know. So because of these questions, I always go back and say, let's ask the Snow Camp Europe crystal ball. So what I thought I'd do in this video is we're going to look at the past 12 years snowfall information. We're also going to look at the number of days it snowed in those seasons. And then I'm going to give you my punt of what we are going to get for winter season 24-25. So we haven't actually put out a snow report yet this season. We did have quite a bit of snow in September, and the glacier opened a week earlier than it was supposed to, and is still open, and there is a lot of skiing going on, but on limited terrain. At the moment, it's very warm in the day. It's about 15 degrees outside as I speak. It's late afternoon on Tuesday, or is it Wednesday? Wednesday, the 30th of October. So it's pretty warm for the time of year, but this is very, very like last year. The last 2 weeks of October last year were very warm. And then come the 2nd of November, it got very, very cold. And we had an extreme amount of snow on the 3rd and the 4th. And boom, the conditions were fantastic. But at the moment, there is some snow up there, but not enough snow and not enough snowfall for us to start our weekly snow reports. But I thought we would just have a look at these figures, just to give you an idea of what we typically get and what I expect us to get, and therefore to kind of say to you, don't worry about the snow if you are coming to Kaprun or ZLMZ in February, or even at the end of season Easter, because typically, as you will see, we have plenty of it. Now, these figures are based on Kaprun, not on ZLMZ, so you can reduce them a little bit. But let's get into it straight away. So here we have the annual snowfall figures for the last 12 years. I got here to Kaprun 12 years ago, 2012, been here ever since. And as many of you will know, I do a weekly snow report since, I think, 2019. Have a look at those figures. In red, I have put two of the biggest winters, and I've also put the smallest. So the biggest winter there, 2018-19, typical, was a winter I didn't ski due to an injury. 890 centimeters, almost 9 meters snow fell over the Kaprun ski area. Now, obviously, down on the Maiskogel, there would have been less snowfall. Up on the glacier, there would have been more. But almost 9 meters in 2018-2019. Then the year before was a big year, 832 centimeters. And as we can see, that very weak year, 380 centimeters, was only, 3 years ago. A couple of other kind of highlights back in 2012-13, quite a good year, 751 centimeters. Then around 6.5 meters for the next 2 years. Then it drops down to 426 centimeters. Then we had an increase in snowfall again for winter 16-17. And then obviously the big year, many of you remember I was going live throughout that snowfall of 18-19 because it was bucketing it down, and there was a lot of travel problems. The road from Salzburg to ZLMZ via Lofa was closed because of avalanche risk. So there was quite a lot of disruption that year with that snow. And then if you look at this year, 2023 to date, 598 centimeters. Now, if you remember last winter, everybody was complaining there was not a lot of snow. And I kept repeating on the snow forecasts that we actually had a lot of snowfall. The problem was under 2,800 meters, in most places, it didn't snow, it rained. And then when it did snow, it would then rain and it would become very wet and slushy snow. So we had very spring-like conditions for the most of last winter. But as you can see in Kaprun and the level is increased because of the glacier, almost 6 meters. And that is before we have November and December snowfall. So if we get a very good November and December, then this winter season is going to have seen a considerable amount of snow. Definitely going to be over 600, 650, which was back earlier in the 12-year period that we're looking at. Whether we will get up to the 800s, we'll have to see how much snow we get in November and December. But once that snow does start to come, we will start the weekly snow reports. Now, what is interesting to look at is the number of days that it snowed. So snowfall days in Kaprun. The ones in red are basically anything over 40, because if you look, we top out at 48. So I've taken anything from 41 to 48 as being a good number of days or a high number of days. And then, as you can see, we've got some 38, we've got a 38, a 30, a 34, and then everything else is in the 20s, as low as 21 days, 22 days, 28 and 29. Now again, this winter season 23-24, that's just coming to an end now, we're up to 48 snow days. So that is going to be, as long as we get snow in November and December, it's going to be the highest number of days it will have snowed in a season or year in the last 12 years. So that is definitely going to be a bit of a record. Whether, as we say, that snow will get up to that 890 centimetre mark in the next 2 months, we'll have to wait and see. But quite interesting, if you look at, I think it's 2014-15, 30 days of snow. When I come on to the next slide, that's one to zoom in on. But as you can see, obviously 21-22, we didn't get a great deal of snow, and that was the year where we only had 380 centimeters of snow. So if we then take the number of days it has snowed and we lay that next to the snow depths, obviously you would expect the higher the number of days, the more snow. But if you look at 2018-19, 48 days of snow, 890 centimeters. Where if you look at 2012-13, 48 days of snow, 751 centimeters. So a metre or so less over the same number of days. And then equally, if you look at 2014-15, 30 days of snowfall, but we had 650 centimetres of snow. Again, 2017-18, 832 centimetres over 46 days. And yeah, so I remember my first winter season in 1988, believe it or not. I was only 5 years of age at the time. And it felt like it snowed every day. And when it snowed, it always snowed a lot. And the village where I was always full of snow. Now, it's very rare that you come to Kaprun and the village itself has got snow accumulation on the I nearly said sidewalk like an American, on the pavement or on the footpaths. Throughout the season. Now, we have had a couple of winters recently where it did snow a lot in the village, and then it was very, very cold for week after week after week. So that snow did stay. So we had a very wintry village. But typically, if you come to Kaprun, you won't find much snow in the village other than on the occasion when it is snowing in the village and a couple of days after, because it typically warms up again and then that snow melts. And it melts from about 1,000, 1,100 meters down. So even the very bottom of the Maeskogel suffers throughout most of the season. But you get that pretty much in any low ski area in Austria. One thing that is worth considering that a lot of people who ski in France and Canada always talk about is Austria gets very small amounts of snow. Well, Austria only needs small amounts of snow because we're skiing predominantly on grazing land. We're skiing on fields, pasture, where the cows are in the summer, and you don't need as much snow. You can actually ski with 20-30 centimeters of snow, even less than that on some pasture, because you're not fighting against high altitude rock. So anything below 1,800, 2,000 meters typically is going to be grazing land. Obviously up on the glacier, then that is a bit more rock orientated and obviously ice orientated because it's a glacier. But we get more snow up there, which takes care of that. So you don't need as much snow to ski in Austria as you do in other places. So yeah, quite interesting to look at the number of snowfall days versus the actual amount of snow. And then we can also, no, we can't. I thought I had a slide that showed the number of days it snowed last year, but I don't. I just have the 48. So it'll be interesting to see where we get to this winter. Now, for my kind of finger in the air prediction, assumption, I think that this winter, once it starts to snow, which I think will be about the 3rd week of November, we will get some significant snowfall. I think that the 2024-25 season is going to give us around 6 meters of snow, so 600 centimeters over 36 days. What you can take from that, folks, is looking at the 12-year data that we've got, is if you are coming to Kaprun, and more likely, most likely, also ZLMZ, then you are going to be okay for snow. We have got additional snowmaking facilities now on the Kaprun Glacier, and that is going to be improved again over the next 2 winters, I believe. And yeah, last year wasn't as bad as people thought. We actually had almost 6 meters of snow. And yeah, if you found this useful, then give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to write any comments below, and keep your eye out for the snow reports, which will be coming as soon as the snow starts to fall, which I believe is going to be the 3rd week of November, the first significant snowfall since September. And then we will see how we get on. As I always say on the snow reports, it always seems to snow at the same times every year. The amount of snow does differ, but it normally snows within 1 or 2 days before or 1 or 2 days after. It always snows. So the pattern, I believe, is there. Yes, we are seeing less and less snowfall than we had many years ago. But as you can see, the last 12 years have not been that bad, with an average of 6 meters of snowfall and 36 days of snow. So Andy for Snow Camp Europe, hopefully you found that interesting. I will see you on the next video very soon. Bye for now.